Let's talk about being mediocre and staying there. So I'm going to read a kind of a long comment, but it's interesting, it's useful, and it's worth discussion. Here we go. I'm really annoyed with the shoot slower to be accurate crowd. I'm on a church guardian team, and we've got a skills assessment test, which is several drills added up to a par time with an accuracy standard of trying to get A-zone only hits on a USPSA target. It's like the modified CSAT, I don't know what that is, pistol qual with 18 rounds total. The accuracy requirement is so strict that the Charlies are 3-second penalties and deltas are 6 seconds. The par time is 27 seconds. I think that's including penalties, by the way. Most people shoot it at higher than the par time. Okay, so they're failing it. I'm the only guy getting it around 18 seconds with roughly a 1.25 second draw time and 3-second bill drill, but get a few Charlies here and there like everyone else. Because of the Charlies, I'm penalized so hard that I miss the par. So he fails it. So he's shooting at 18. I guess if he has 4 Charlies, then yeah, that would have him fail it. The last time I had 3 Charlies within half an inch of the A zone and 1 Delta at 20 yards, and I kept getting complaints like, if you just slowed down 4 seconds, you could have cleaned it. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I know I'm going to miss and take a full second to make a shot. I miss stupid stuff like the second body shot on the Mozambique, but I make the A-zone hit on the head while still clearing the bill drill in 3 seconds. Okay, I don't know all the specifics of what he's saying, but you can tell there's some frustration. Like he's shooting relatively quickly and not having things come together. Anyway, my problem is at grip and vision, generally maintaining a high level of focus. Your videos have been helping me see where I'm actually weak instead of getting the feedback that I'm just winging shots off too fast and need to feel the reset. Yeah, when somebody's like, you're shooting too fast, it's like, nope, that's not really an answer. That's not what's wrong. Because shooting slower is just going to make you slower. It doesn't really change the process. When they're telling you, hey, you need to feel the trigger reset, it's like, nope, like that person's a dumbass. That's like, honestly, that's not someone you need to listen to. Like, the reset happens after the shot's already out of the gun. Like, you're not affecting anything that just happened. You're gonna feel the reset. Like, no, the bullet's gone, dude. Anyway, I've got the weapon manipulation stuff pretty well. It's just at my accuracy, and I'm working on improving at this point. If I take longer to make a shot, I generally miss slower, which is much worse. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's not a time thing. If you take more time, you're just going to take more time. Like people tend to just miss in slow motion when you tell them to slow down. Because of the Charlies, I'm penalized so hard they miss tar. Okay. Yes. Yeah, let's find the rest of this. Here we go. Here's the rest of it. So the longer I take to make a shot, I generally just miss slower, which is much worse. It also doesn't help that the mentality is if you don't get an A zone, you miss the target and shot a baby. And he's got that in all caps. You missed the target and shot a baby. I think the atmosphere of punishing small mistakes is a little toxic and detrimental towards building actual usable skill for what we do. I'm not going to draw slower for every stage because people think that's how you aim better because more time, more accuracy. Maybe I'm just huffing copium, is what he says. Like, no, this is a very normal mentality in firearms training. And what it does is keep people mediocre. It keeps people shitty. So like this guy's like, he's working with some of the concepts that we've been talking about on here. Like, I want to focus on a target. I'm working on bill drills, shooting aggressively, trying to shoot as accurately as he can. And he's like trying to assess what he's doing. He's trying to get better. And I think from the sounds of it, he's the best shooter in this group. But what happens, like this guy needs to get pounded on by the instructors because he's shooting faster than the other guys. And that's pretty much what this is. And this mentality is going to keep people shitty. This is why people are not improving in a program like this. I really firmly believe you got to change the accountability. So like when you're shooting a test like that or like a qual like that, like that's one thing. But then for your training, it's like you should change the accountability so you're allowed to explore a little bit. Shoot more aggressively, shoot target focused, or like sometimes do other things like, hey, draw and stare at the sight and shoot a string. Just to try it, just to see what that looks like and be like, yeah, okay, that's not as good. And I think that I'm flipping onto the sight sometimes. Be a little experimental. That kind of stuff is very, very helpful. And then when you have somebody who's shooting fast, like this guy's shooting a 3-second bill drill. He's not shooting like a maniac. He's just shooting sort of proficiently for someone who practices a little bit, right? And they're still telling him like, oh, you got to slow down. Like, that is crazy. That's going to keep you crap forever. The way that I'd approach this with these guys, if we're saying, hey, Charlie's 3 seconds and a Delta's 6 seconds on our qual, and I'd be like, all right, well, if it's like you miss the A zone and you kill the baby, it's like, why don't we just, you fail the qual. If you shoot a C or a D, you fail. Why don't we do that? Why don't we get serious and start asking questions that way? It's like 3 seconds for a Charlie. Why not 5? Why not 5? Because, I mean, I think for most people, they hear when I say it's 3-second penalty for shooting a Charlie. That sounds crazy to them. But then you got to come at it the other direction with the instructors. Like, well, why isn't it 5? What, are you guys not serious? I think it should be 5. And start the discussion off that way and see what they think. Because, like, thinking like this is going to, again, it's going to keep you shit. And the instructors having people do this, it's like, these guys are clowns. I can just tell you that this is going to be a clown show here. I would walk away from this thing personally, but this seems like a nice guy, and it'd be good if he has a nice protected church. So he's going to be a little more diplomatic than I would be. But, like, yeah, these instructors are clowns, and they keep people right where they're at, which is mediocre. So no, I don't agree with this mentality. And yeah, I mean, you hear about this stuff a lot. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have your own experiences with stuff like this. I would be curious to read about those in the comments. There might be some fun things to talk about.